Module 8, Working with Families and Providing Professional Development. When we talk about a parent program, we must talk about a couple of different things before we even get started. So a parent program, a high-quality parent program, must contain positive attitudes, it must communicate trust, it must work collaboratively with families. So when we divide up the concepts of a parent program, we're going to divide them up into three major categories. The first category are parent contacts. These are possible ways to contact parents. So for example, are you going to talk to them as they arrive or depart? Are we going to have formal interviews and discussions, conferences, parent meetings, phone calls, emails, or communicate through social media? The next aspect of a parent program is education, parent education. The purpose of this is to improve parenting skills, to help interpret the center program, vocational education, in some cases remedial classes, and basically information on such topics as nutrition, stress, or even time management. These can be formal or informal. They can be workshops, presentations, or even seminars. And then the third component is parent involvement. Parent involvement incorporates conferences, parent education, and incorporates planning, implementing. So it's involving parents and finding helpful ways that you can get families and parents or caregivers involved. It could be something as small as working with children in a small group, doing clerical work, maybe donating materials for a party, or even serving on a board or advisory committee. So these three components equal a parent program. So parent-teacher conferences, these are opportunities to share positive child experiences. You can show child work samples, you can develop plans to facilitate the child's progress, and make sure you always give parents time to share what they're seeing at home or what they're experiencing at home, so you can kind of get a better overall picture of the child's areas of strengths and maybe areas they need to work on. Parent handbooks and the center website. Handbooks are a really good way to share information with families. They can include such things as the center philosophy, maybe your daily schedule, transportation policies, health and safety policies. So it's a nice go-to document that parents can use to answer some of their common questions. Handbooks are also a good way to communicate basic information about the program. So you can include the discipline policy, maybe forms for parents that want to help out, expectations about the child's transition to another grade or another classroom, and then moving on to the website. The website can be a great way to show like a snapshot of information. It can talk about communication, how you can email the director or the teachers, how you can get in touch with other families possibly. Again, you can share policies here on your website, accreditation information, cost, tuition, and you can even share enrollment documents or application information. Volunteer programs typically involve an orientation for volunteers, and this helps the families or the person volunteering get a better understanding of how they fit into the program or into the services they might be helping out with. You can provide staff directory and make introductions between volunteers. You can have information on child guidance in the center philosophy. You can make sure to have the confidentiality statement within your any type of information you share though. Next, we're going to move on to different types of professional organizations. So most of you have probably heard of NAEYC. This is the National Association for the Education of Young Children. This is probably one of the most popular organizations for teachers from birth to 5 or even birth to age 8. Another group organization, a professional organization, is the National Association for Child Care Professionals. And there's the National After School Association, and then the National Child Care Association. These are only a few. There are many, many more. So I encourage you to do some research, especially as you go out during your career and your first teaching position or directing position, and explore the different organization. It's a great way to meet other individuals within the field. Staff meetings. So we're going to talk about what that process looks like and how we go about doing that. So the director is responsible for planning and conducting the staff meetings. So communication between staff members and the director is typically what the purpose of the meeting is. However, this can be determined or carried out in different ways. You as the director need to determine the frequency and the timing of meetings, and this can vary based on the type of program you're running. So as far as preparation, you always want to get staff input, or are there items on the agenda that staff want to discuss? So maybe send an email out to staff asking for feedback or suggestions. You want to start with a written agenda, but you need to be flexible. There may be issues that come up that you need to address throughout the staff meeting. Send out notification of the meeting, including the agenda, and have maybe one staff member pick a certain topic at the end of your staff meeting that you'll be discussing each week. It can be something about a certain disability area, or have them do some research, a different person each week, so that you feel you include and everyone is participating within the staff meeting. It's not just a sit and listen type of a meeting. The procedures of the meeting can vary. The director typically serves as the person that runs the meeting. Make sure you start and end on time. Arrange the environment so that it's not a classroom setup, but more of a group, like maybe a circle. If possible, provide refreshments and give an opportunity for staff to write notes or use a whiteboard or a way to document things that are discussed during the staff meeting. Professional development. Staff training typically begins with the orientation of the new staff. This will continue with total staff training and a PD plan for each staff member. So with the new Step Up to Quality, there's a lot more rules and regulations how that professional development will look. So staff are required to attend more professional development and receive training on different topic areas. The time and the place for training must be suitable. So scheduling these PD experiences or training experiences can be quite difficult based on the schedule, if there's a rotating schedule throughout the day of your staff. And also your staff, you need to be sensitive to the fact that your staff have families at home or may have other obligations outside of work. Training methods for professional development can be on-site, online. It can be conferences, workshops, webinars. It can be having a specialist come in and talk with your staff. There's a lot of ways to do professional development, but the bottom line is making sure you have a clear plan for your staff and that there are clear expectations how those professional development hours will be obtained. Supervision. So that some of the principles of supervision should be based on trust, making sure it's individualized, and making sure you're supporting each staff member individually, and making sure it provides a framework to demonstrate professional skills. So you want to be seen as the leader, not the person that is handing out negativity, or you are providing support for your staff. Supervision requires a process for each individual, and this may look different based on the individual's needs. Making sure you support by addressing issues right away rather than letting issues go through a time period where there could be a ripple effect with other staff. Giving feedback, and this can be positive feedback that I like the way you're working with the children, I like the way you set up your classroom, and making sure you as the director are also modeling appropriate behavior is really very important. And then lastly, supporting the center. The director can support the center in various ways. So maintaining relationships with the family that attend your center, that is crucial. Managing your time effectively, making sure you have the right amount of time for each role and responsibility you have. Relating to the staff members with professionalism, you are a professional and they are your colleagues. So making sure you have that professional relationship and those expectations is important. Helping children with special needs and their families. So again, we've talked in other chapters and other modules about being an advocate for families. Dealing with assisting staff, so addressing issues that may come about that may seem minor that you need to assist your staff with. If there's a communication issue with a family and a teacher, you may want to support that staff member and help that family and that teacher gain a better understanding and a better working relationship. And then finally, managing the classroom, providing suggestions to your staff on how maybe to rearrange the classroom or set up the classroom to encourage positive interactions and fewer behavior issues. And the bottom line is supporting the staff will also support the center, and therefore your goals will be met.